This is Dabu7. It seems like those same cartels, those same money masters that JFK had tried to warn all of you about before he was assassinated. Those same cartels are still pulling the strings here, and on this world stage, it should be no mystery, no secret as to who is at the root of this. Now, there are several different people, a lot of families tied into this together, but the Rothschilds have had a lot of influence for a long time. And Jacob Rothschild, or Lord Rothschild, as he wants the people around him to call him, he has been putting out these little hints and warnings, not full-blown, but just in terms of small statements, and it's really their actions that you have to pay attention to here. Now, let's not forget that these banking cartels that JFK warned you about are still in control. Let's not forget that J.P. Morgan and his associates gathered on Jekyll Island, and they spread a false rumor that sparked a run on the banks that caused the Great Depression. They got rich. The rest of the country suffered. And you would think in a criminal moment like that, someone conspiring to bring down this country, that those individuals would go to jail or to prison, right? Never happened. Never happened. And their offspring, J.P. Morgan and his buddies, their offspring are still running these huge conglomerate banks. J.P. Morgan Chase, you know it. You see it out there every day. Flourishing. They're still in control while all of you go work your 9 to 5 for this currency that's not backed by anything. This is the same Rothschild entity, okay, where the brothers split up, went to France and Germany, and funded both sides of the major world war. Yet no one was arrested for doing that, for controlling both sides and running the people against each other. That's crimes against humanity. You're looking for something that they've done wrong. You wonder how Soros gets away with it, doing the same thing, funding the chaos in the streets. These guys are 10 levels above the super money masters. You see, and you should pay attention when the super money masters that set up this whole thing and that have been pulling the strings all of a sudden start dumping their assets in US dollars. That's exactly what he's doing. That is signaling to me there's something in the offing. They're getting their chips over on another currency, you see? And when one goes down and others flood into the other currency as the safe haven, they're already going to be there, so what they're sitting on is going to swell in value. Now, if the US dollar or a big dollar like that went down, it would affect the globe. They know this. So the euro, the sterling, things like that, they would rise for a moment. But then if a whole economy, like the U.S. economy, the stock market, the U.S. dollar, everything collapsed, so too would any and every other country out there that has a central bank set up like this, filled with U.S. dollars, an economy based on U.S. dollars. All of them will fall. Now, when you have all of them falling, it's going to affect the UK. It's going to affect all these other countries that do business. And to me, this is part of a grand scheme worldwide. This beast blockchain is what they're moving this to. Once you get all of these dollars to collapse down, you just install one worldwide blockchain where everything is controlled digitally. They're already doing it with rice, with grain, with gold, everything you can think of in China. And the day that this happens, and I've warned about this, you have a chance right now to create your own currency on your own blockchain. But are people going to do it is the question. That's the only chance that you stand to fight against this, because you have to be in it righteously. Okay? Because with the blockchain, when you do away with dollar bills and everything is digital, everything is digitized, you can no longer hide money in your closet. Do you hear me? You can no longer hide money under your mattress. be private about how much money you've got saved up. Can you believe that? This is where this is going. I've already had the visions of me being on the road and looking up at the sky and then wishing the days of cash money were still around. Because people right now with their cash money can have massive amounts hidden in their closet and they have no clue how much you're sitting on. Do you see this? When they make this move to digitize this globally, they will be able to track everything. Everything. And you will no longer be able to hide your money from the beast. I'm warning you. You're going to wish the days the dollar were still around. And a collapse of it, in all of this, it may not lead to the chaos that people think. They may let it cause some chaos, but I want you to remember, history often rhymes. And the British did away with the tally stick system that they used for over 1,000 years, kicked in people's doors to confiscate the tally sticks and everything, and said, we're going to do away with all of our debt. All of our war debt, everybody's debt, we're going to do away with all of it. And we're going to use this new paper money system. Now they have a new catalyst with the blockchain, with this technology, with cryptocurrency. They've been making their moves. The biggest banks have been making their moves. These guys have been making their moves. And they've set the trap. Okay? Nothing out here on this web is anonymous. Do you understand me? Not even your bank account can be affected the same way. They're tracking all of it. The only thing that they can't track is dollars that you have hidden inside of your house and that you're spending on the side. They can't see what you're doing. They can't see what you're purchasing. They can't see none of it. When those dollars go away and they transfer this to the blockchain, the beast blockchain, because I'm telling you, there's a difference. It's like a car or a gun. It can be used by good or bad. But you know what they have coming down the pike is for full control. Only if you have righteous people at the top can something like this work well. But I guess you could say that for this whole globe. This world could be a utopia, but because of these people, these criminals that do this, that set the game up to keep you slaves and keep them richer, and pull the strings to make this whole thing collapse when they want. When the guys that are the money masters start all of a sudden ditching the currency that has made them what they are and got them to be the boss hogs globally that they are, when they start ditching that, you have got to pay attention, people. Gold, silver, physical assets, they are what is key. And if there comes a time in this country or in another country, they will crack down and they will confiscate every bit of gold and silver they can get their hands on. They've done it before in this country. Now, what they're probably going to do is they're going to take all of this at some point and they're going to do what I think China or some other country's about to do, and it's going to be huge when they do it big time, is when they put out their cryptocurrency and they back it by gold. Because not even your US dollar is backed by gold. They're going to then start running commercials for the cryptocurrencies, for the wallets. You wonder why not a single commercial has been played on TV about any of this? But none of it. You don't see abnormal commercials for any of these, for Ethereum popping up left and right like you should. They've held it back. They have rolled this crypto thing out. This is why there's so much mystery about Satoshi and the true makers of Bitcoin and the timing of all this. I've warned in another video and I'm warning you again. I've shown you how Deutsche Bank, how all these other people have been caught in the past few months, red-handed, drug into court, busted, manipulating precious metals, manipulating the housing market, manipulating the whole damn stock market, keeping it propped up. Did they go to jail? Nope. They got a smack on the wrist. They got a fine. They're like, oh, just give me some of that money. And they were allowed to keep on doing it. And they still are. So we know they're propping it up. So when it comes collapsing down, it should be no surprise. Because they're keeping it held up. So it will be of their choosing. And I'm here to tell you, that is criminal. This is just like the Great Depression, where J.P. Morgan and the goons got together. They plotted this. They had everything collapse down, and it caused the Great Depression. They lived like kings. So are their offsprings today, while our forefathers suffered like we still do today. And none of that is going to change until you turn the tables. So, you can see by their asset chart, they have just in 6 months reduced majorly. This is the cash cow, the boss hog US dollar that they've assassinated people over, that they've had full global control with and made all their fortunes. And now all of a sudden they're shifting away from it. I think that's something to pay attention to. I'm going to talk about this more. Underground World News Live. Friday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to tune in live, because sometimes it's the only way you're going to catch them, because we drop bombs. This is Killuminati.